Assalamualaikum everyone. I hope you already know all our classes are going to be recorded from every session. So this is actually a trial class, but I am going to explain few topics from your AS Physics Unit 1. So I'm going to record this session. Okay, I hope that's fine for all of you. We have waited quite a long, so if anyone wants to join, they can join along, but let's start with our classes. Now, in today's class, we're not going to just understand entirely the concepts for Unit 1, one topic only. We're basically going to start with the specification first. Okay. Now, this is not the official specification for your physics AS. The official specification looks different and a little bit confusing because it has a lot of things inside the specification. You have the subject code, then when was the first setting available for the specification, and all of these things. So basically, we are following that subject code for WPH01. Okay, that is our like subject code. This is for unit 1. Okay, and obviously understanding or knowing the subject code is important because on other subject codes are also available for physics in A levels. So this is our specification. Okay, WPH01 for unit 1, WPH02 that is for unit 2, and lastly for WPH03, and this is for unit 3. Okay. In combination, this will be considered as your AS physics. In addition to all of these things, this is your entire AS physics. Now, this batch is going to open for the May 2025 batch. That means our classes will start from July 1st and will continue till next year, April. Also, we will provide some extra classes during the May, but they're not like fixed classes. They will just like be the problem solving last moment classes, but basically our classes will continue to the next year May, so next year April session. Okay, now, another thing, I mean, for your AS physics, I think all of you have finished your A levels in the last session, like in this May 2024 session, right? So for AS, IGCSE physics, it was a lot different than A levels physics. And the contents are quite like related to IGCSE physics, but not that similar concept. I mean, there is a large shift, large gap from O level physics to A level physics, but it's not that much like rocket science difference that you cannot understand that with enough practice and with enough understanding and consistency also, that is another important thing for A levels. You can obviously cover that gap again. And I think for IGCSE physics, the time duration for you have two papers, right? Paper one and paper two. Paper one was maybe 2 hours, and paper one was 1 hour, right? For A level physics, the timing is same for all the three papers. 1 hour 30 minutes for uh, paper one, unit one, unit two, and for unit three, I think this is only 1 hour because unit three is a very small content. Even in your exam and even in your syllabus type, if you consider, unit three is entirely small and extremely small compared to the contents you're going to learn in unit one and unit two. And okay, let's start. Let's just understand what units or what exactly, I mean, what is basically units and under what in each unit what we learn in unit one or unit two. So unit one starts with your normal basic mechanics. I think if you compare this with your IGCSE physics, the first chapter, right, first unit, I think, yeah, movement and position was the first unit in IGCSE physics. Just a modified version to that will be understood and will be like we are going to teach that in your ACE Physics Unit 1. So in ACE Physics Unit 1, the first thing we start with is physical quantities and units. And after that, this is not a topic that we were taught in IGCSE Physics, but from this list, we are taught a little bit of things from the IGCSE Physics. Like we already know what speed, velocity, acceleration is, right? And then equations for motion, then a constant velocity accelerations and graphs. There will be graph calculations and bouncing ball concepts, and then you have this like this entire topic is just a modified versions of your IGCSE physics. So the first chapter we're going to start with is kind of related to your IGCSE physics, but after that you will see nothing related to your IGCSE physics. Like everything from then onwards will be extremely new, entirely new. Like in vectors, I think you guys saw this in IGCSE maths. If you have further maths, if you have maths A, if you had maths B, we saw vector calculations, right? So vector calculations will be again a part of your A-level physics. It's not entirely the same calculations as IJ notation we did in maths, but slightly similar to the maths concept. We're going to create triangles over here, follow the directions, and all these concepts. So this is entirely new vectors. This is again a part of A levels unit one. Okay, and then again projectile motion. This is entirely new and also one of the toughest topic in A levels in unit one. I mean, in your unit one, it is basically an extended version of maths, to be honest, because each paper, by the way, consists of 80 marks. Okay, over here, you're going to score 80 marks. This is also 80 marks, and this is entirely 60 marks. Okay, unit 3 is a small topic, so that's why they're going to make you sit for an exam of 60 marks. Now, in let's say unit 1, in the total 80-mark paper, you will at least get 20 to 25 marks of question from only projectile. So you can understand that exactly how important this projectile motion maths are. These are entirely maths. I mean, they do have little bit of concepts related to them, but the concepts are not that much like important eventually. The maths part is what they're mainly focused on. They want to explain maths entirely. Okay, so this is mathematics entirely. And again, if you guys intend to take maybe M2 at some point, M2 is again an extended version of maths. Then you'll again come across projectile motions in maths. I mean, projectile motions is entirely maths. I mean, it has a very little bit of concepts, not that much of theoretical parts involved with that. And then again, forces. I know we saw forces in IGCSE physics, but this is an entirely new version of IGCSE physics. Like I mean, yes, obviously we saw Newton's first law, second law, and third law in IGCSE physics, but for A levels, they have quite different insights for these laws of motion for Newton's. So it's entirely different now. So I also consider this as a new topic for A levels. Okay. And then this is work, energy, power, moment, momentum. I mean, for this part, we actually do not have that much different thing. We only need to understand equations for work, energy, power, moment, momentum. Well, this is not new. This is something like a very small extended version for the old idea. So I'll consider that as an old calculation. Like we have seen this kind of working or understood this kind of quantities in IGCSE physics also. And and all of these things, by the way, like all these topics, kinematics, vectors, projectile motions, forces, and work energy power will be under your topic one. Okay. In each unit, you have two topics available. Unit one have two topics, and again, unit two have two topics. All these things, all these contents will be a part for only topic one. And from this part, from the seventh uh, chapter, materials and solid materials, this is again entirely different. It is slightly related to Hooke's law we saw in IGCSE physics, but other than that, I mean, other than Hooke's law, fluid mechanism and solid materials are entirely different. We haven't seen this type of things in IGCSE physics, and this is your part of topic two. Okay. Topic two is not that much like big. I mean, as you can understand, topic one has six sections, and topic two only has like two sections. So topic two is quite small, but topic one is extremely big. And topic one is also covering 80% of your unit one. Right? All of the concepts, all of the questions that will come across in unit one will be taken from topic one. Mostly from 80% will be from topic one, and 20% will be from topic two. And also for topic two, they do not have that much calculations involved. This is entirely like theory based, and for this theory based over here, they will usually ask explanations or description type of questions from fluid mechanics and solid materials. Now, another thing for A level physics, for every unit, they will ask you one star mark question, okay, asterisk mark questions. And these are the questions where you have to write your entire answer into logical pattern, correct arrangement of mark scheme point, and with proper or good English. Okay. So these kind of star mark questions will mostly come from this topic two for unit one. Because for unit one, topic one, they mostly have only maths related, right? They cannot like ask you any theoretical question, descriptive or explanative questions from topic one. So mostly the descriptive and like descriptive and explanation from questions come from topic two of this unit one. So far we saw this that for unit one we have two topics. Topic one covers 80% of your syllabus and mostly maths. And then you have topic two. For topic two, it will cover 20% of your question paper, and this is the descriptive star mark question. Also, these star mark questions are very like valuable because each of them will contain like 6 marks, and you certainly cannot lose 6 marks over here because losing 6 marks is a very big loss for your exams. Because in A levels, what happens? Obviously, you sit for a like raw paper of 80 marks. Raw means that you are going to sit for the exam with a paper of 80 marks. So out of 80, you have to score. This is your raw mark, and this will be converted like scaled over here in your result, and that will become your UMS mark. Okay, and your UMS mark will be considered as 120 marks. So basically, you are going to sit on a paper with 80 marks, and that will be converted into 120. Okay, so maybe like if you want to score A in unit one, in that case you have to at least like intend to complete the unit one paper to get 50 marks, and 50 marks will be converted into 109 marks. Okay, not yeah 100 sorry no made a mistake. This is I think 102 to 103 marks. This will be converted into 102 to 103. But the marking, like the difference between the raw mark and UMS actually changes every session, and this new UMS routine or raw marking will be given one day before your result. That is, if you're going to intend to sit for the May 2025 session, in that case your result will be on August, and one day before your exam, this grade boundaries will be uploaded so that you can compare how much you got in the raw mark and how much is your score in the UMS. And in your transcript, I think you'll see these raw marks, but in your in your transcript you'll see the raw mark and also the UMS mark. But in your final certificate for A levels, you guys will not see any marks. Okay, I think for your O levels also in the transcript only you will see the marks, that how many marks you got in each paper for each subject. But when you guys are going to get that like final certificate for O levels for IGCSE maybe in this November, by November I think. So in that final certificate, again, no marks will be like stated. Only your grades will be stated there, like grade 9, 8. Is there any question till now? After and Sanusi Fayad, is there any question?
No, miss.
Wait 1 minute. Thank you for responding. Now let's start. I mean, this was all the things we need to know for Unit 1. Okay. Now, after this, let's move on to Unit 2 also because, I mean, this is an introduction class. We're going to look over all the entire units. Okay. So, this is your Unit 2. Now, Unit 2 itself is not that much lengthy, but problem is obviously over here, as you can see, that you have three topics. Okay. This is your, like, in total, waves and quantum physics will create your topic 3. This is topic 3, waves and particle nature of light. And then this is your topic 4, electricity. Topic 4 is very small, again, like your unit 1. This is extremely small. But for topic 3, it is quite lengthy. I mean, you have a lot of things to understand. Properties of waves, we have seen in IGCSE physics, types of waves, also we have seen that. And then I think we saw reflection, refraction, right? All of these things we saw in IGCSE physics. But after these first two topics, everything then after that onwards will be entirely new, like superposition, phase difference, standing waves, and critical angle. No, I think critical angle we also saw that in IGCSE physics, right? So we saw that, but wave interference, then polarizations, instruments with using polarization, applications of polarization, all of these things are entirely new for your A levels physics. Okay, and this again contains 80% of your unit 2. For unit 2 again you have this similar concept, that you have topic 3, which is basically going to convert like consist 80% of your unit 2 paper. And then again from this topic 3, this is not that much of calculations involved over here. Mostly theoretical parts will come from when you'll have to describe a situation, you'll have to explain a situation. So basically all the star mark questions will come out from this topic 3 part. And topic 4 is entirely maths. For electricity, you have to draw a circuit, create a circuit, and then find out exactly how the change in temperature will cause change in the circuit, or light intensity will cause a change in the circuit. Okay, So for these cases, electricity is mostly maths. And from electricity, they can ask you descriptive questions also, because there are explanations for electricity as well, but not that much like you have in topic 3. Topic 3 is a very vast syllabus for descriptive questions. So most descriptive questions come from waves, and most mathematical questions for unit 2 will come from electricity. Okay. So this is again 20% of your paper, of your unit 2 paper. Again, same thing, you're going to sit for a paper of raw mark 80, and out of 80, it doesn't matter how much you score, that will be converted into your UMS marks. Okay, UMS marks, and that will be again represented as out of 120. Again, to score A in unit 2, you might have to like get 50, right? And then actually in unit 2, it is quite easier to score 50 in unit 2, because in unit 2 you have mostly theoretical questions. And for theoretical questions, I mean, even they have a lot of topics obviously, but we can give you a list of questions which is basically going to come from your previous past papers, and then again exactly what topics are kind of more susceptible to come in the next week, in the next session. So I can actually predict few papers and give it to you guys. So before our exams, what we do is that maybe, for example, if our exam is on like May 13, in that case, I will provide 2 extra classes for Unit 2 in May, like in May 11 or May 12. And in those 2 classes, I'll explain you the recent topics that might come across in your exam. And mostly people do find common things from that classes. So for Unit 2, it is very easy for me to predict the paper, or maybe, like give you a hints about what topic might come in your exams. But for unit 1, it is quite tough for me also to predict the paper, because that is entirely maths. And I cannot predict the maths, but the theoretical part we can predict. That is easy for us. So this is it. And then for unit 3, that is it by the way for unit 2. Okay, and for unit 3 actually is not a different topic. Unit 3 is actually all the experiments taken from unit 1 and unit 2, and they're compiled under another separate unit. Okay, by the way, this is entirely theoretical. We do not need to carry out any type of experiments in our exam session. Okay, one week. This is entirely theoretical. So I'll understand that exactly how to carry out an experiment. I have to understand what are the safety precautions for that experiment. And then again, I have to describe that experiment in proper words. But then the descriptions never come in your unit 3. The descriptions come in your unit 1 and unit 2. And for unit 3, I think it's mostly maths. They will give you a situation for which you have to calculate the percentage uncertainty or range, and then you have to calculate gradient of a graph, area under the graph. All these concepts will be for your unit 3. For unit 3 also, you do not have to describe any kind of experiments in Word. The description for unit 3, like all the core practicals description, will be actually apart for your unit 1 and unit 2 again. You have to understand or learn the description for all the 8 core practicals from unit 3 to sit for your unit 2 and unit 1 exam. So they are all kind of related. And then again for unit 3, you are going to sit on an exam for raw marks of 60 marks. And again, this will be converted into, wait 1 minute, 120, 120. Sorry, I made a mistake. Over here, the raw mark is 45 marks. Okay, for unit 3, you're going to sit for an exam with paper consisting of 45 marks, and that will be converted into 60 marks. Okay, so basically, for scoring A in unit 3, you have to approximately solve 30, get 35 in the raw mark, and then 35 will be converted as 48, and that will be considered as an A grade in unit 3. Okay. Again, for A levels, as obviously we know, they have 2 sessions, right? AS A level and A2 A level. For AS A level, the total mark is 120 from unit 1, 120 from unit 2, and 60, that is 300. So if you want to overall score A in A levels, then you have to at least score 240. 240 and onwards will give you an A grade. Okay. There is no A star grade in AS, but there is an A star grade in A2. That means after entirely complete your A levels, if you have, again for A2 again, you have the same distribution of marks. 120 from unit 4, 120 from unit 5, And then again like 60 from unit 6. This is also another 300. So basically, your entire A levels is a combination of 600 marks, right? And out of the 600, you have to score 540 and onwards, which, sorry, 440 and onwards, 480 and onwards to get A. If you want to get A star, then you can get 540 or above to get A star. And then if you are aiming for B, then it is 420 over 600. And that is B. And I do not know the grade boundaries after that. I think that is like 420 with 1 minute. 420 minus 60. Sorry, 420 minus 60. Yeah, that is like 360 out of 600, which is going to give you a grade C. I would suggest 1 minute. Okay. Now, as I was saying, that I would suggest do not aim for grade C, right? Whenever I am going to sit for an exam, I obviously want to grade like complete my full syllabus, and I am paying full amount for the exam, right? So I would suggest always aim for these two grades. And in A levels, physics and maths, and other than physics and maths, I think that there is another subject known as accounting. That is, I actually do not have accounting in A levels, and I never actually learned accounting, but from my other students, I got to know that these are the comparatively easiest subject in A levels: accounting, and then physics, and then maths. Right? These are the easiest subjects. And I think in the new specification that started from 2018, is there's new subject that's IT. That is also comparatively a very easy subject. So if you are intending to focus on engineering entirely, then I would suggest don't waste your time on biology or chemistry, because biology and chemistry are not needed for like engineering concepts unless you're trying to study pharmacy or medicine or biotechnology or genetic engineering. Right? For all these subjects, then you have to have biology, chemistry, physics, and maths. But if you're intended to pursue in engineering subjects, like I already knew in my A levels that I was going to study computer science, but on my time I didn't have IT, so I took biology, physics, chemistry, and maths. Like these were my subjects in A levels. But then again, when I started university, I saw that chemistry and biology are totally waste for me because I do not need this concept in my further studies. I do need maths. Maths is extremely important. Then again, I still now study physics. I'm in physics 105 courses. Physics is my university minor, and physics and maths is basically like very much needed for all engineering courses. And for medicine, to be honest, you do not need maths. You do need physics, but for medicine, you do not need maths. But I mean, uh, some universities have requirements because medicine is a very, like a highly intellectual subject. So some universities have requirements of 4 subjects. Like in order to sit for the admission exam for some university, you need to have like 4 subjects in A levels. Even though you do not need maths in A levels for medicine, but they have made that a requirement. So we cannot do that. We do anything in regarding that. Okay, now let's explain this to you again one more. So, in order to get A, I would suggest try to score for this 480. And then again, 480 doesn't mean that you have to specifically score 240 in A's and then again 240 in A levels. Okay, I would suggest as A's is it's extremely easier compared to A2. I mean, obviously A levels itself is quite a little bit difficult, but as I've already stated from the very start, you have to be really consistent for our classes. If you are consistent, then it will not be a very difficult part for you to get 240 or marks greater than that. Please remain consistent. If you revise daily work on a daily basis, if you practice your homeworks, and one thing very importantly, if you practice question paper as much as you can, then there is no problem on scoring marks 240 or greater than that. The main theme over here is that you have to understand question paper. You have to solve as much question paper as you can. I think from IGCSE, mostly IGCSE physics was entirely theoretical. We memorized the definitions and then we vomit that out into the exam paper because mostly were the theoretical questions, and even the maths was also very easy. But for A level physics, it is entirely maths and it is entirely descriptive. That means you have to explain a situation in English. So Descriptive part is quite different, and then you saw in your IGCSEs. So I would suggest, I mean, we have to solve like a lot of question papers to actually get the entire idea of question paper to get consistent with that. Okay, so I would suggest do not aim for 214 A levels in AS. I would suggest you can actually score easily 260 or 70 in AS. And if you can score 260, 70, in that case, your entire A in A levels physics is restored, because then A2 physics is a little bit difficult. Even if you lose few marks in A2 physics, that will not be a problem, right? Because you already have like what, 30 plus marks already ahead in A levels in AS. So then again, scoring 210 is enough. I mean, scoring 210 is easy for AS, A2 to be honest. You can easily score 210 in A2. So if this is your distribution marks, like this is how you should aim for, that you should always try to aim for that we're going to score more than 270 or at least 270 AS, and then again 210, or if you can, then more than 210 in A2. Okay? This should be a mark distribution. Another thing, for all the three question papers, as I already said that for unit 1, the exam time duration is going to be 1 hour. And in 1 hour, how many questions do you actually have to solve? Actually, it's praying in my side, so we're going to start the class again after the prayer. Okay, so we'll wait for 5 minutes. Okay, thank you guys for waiting as I was explaining. 1 minute. Okay, for unit 1, the time duration is, as I've stated, 1 hour 30 minutes. And for this 1 hour 30 minutes, your exam paper will be divided into two sections. Okay. So we are going to have like section A. Section A will contain MCQs only. And the MCQs are extremely big, to be honest. I mean, they will give you only 1 mark, but I mean, you need to like practice a lot MCQs to actually get an understanding that what will be the final answer. Because for MCQ, you will have four options for each question, and all the options will look very similar. So this is it. This contains 10 marks. Okay, and then again, you have section B. Section B is your descriptive questions, all the theoretical, all the big maths, all those things are going to be a part of section B. So these are descriptive questions. Okay, and for the descriptive questions, as I already know, the total mark was 80, right? 10 marks is coming from MCQ, so that means over here we're going to get 70 marks. And this similar pattern is followed by your unit 2 also. Unit 2 also have similar 1 hour 30 minutes time duration, and they also are section, like they are also dividing the entire paper into two sections. Okay, section A is your first MCQs. First 10 questions will be MCQs, and the next rest of the question is your theoretical question. And in unit 1, you're going to, like, mostly on maximum people got like 19 questions, not more than 19. So on maximum, you have to solve 19 questions within 1 hour 30 minutes. And for unit 2, on maximum, you get 22 questions. I think in my session, that was in May 2019. Yeah, May 2019 was my session. For my session, I think sat for like 22 questions in unit 2. But then again, for these 22 questions, I mean, it might seem that you have to solve a lot of questions within a very short time, which is 1 hour 30 minutes. But as I've already stated, that for Unit 2, we can predict the answers. We can predict what will come across in your paper. So it will not that much be tricky to solve this 22 questions within the 1 hour 30 minutes. Only you should be concerned about this Unit 1. This is the most toughest unit for A levels AS. Okay, in AS, Unit 1 is tricky, and in A2, Unit 4 is tricky. I mean, that is only tricky for people who does not have A-level maths. And A-level maths is extremely important for physics because uh, understanding A-level maths will actually clear out few units for physics. For example, in maths we have M1, and M1 is basically an extended version for this physics unit 1, and also a little bit working from physics unit 4. Okay. So I would suggest that if you have physics, try to like start M1 with AS, because M1 it will help you immensely for this physics unit 1. They are very much related. They have related content. So unless you have restrictions from your school, I would suggest start M1 with AS physics, because they have a very similar concepts. And okay, now I mean, if there is restrictions in school, then obviously we cannot do anything. But then you need to practice a lot of maths for Unit 1, because Unit 1 is entirely M1 for maths unit. And that is also the toughest unit for the entire A levels. Another thing, one reason why people do bad in Unit 1, that is because in Unit 1 we'll also have hidden Unit 3 concepts. I mean, I know Unit 3 is a different topic, but again, Unit 3, all the contents from Unit 3 were not entirely different. Over here, the first four core practicals are from 1 to 3, 4, are from Unit 1, and the last four core practicals are from, wait 1 minute, it's not the first four, let me just see which ones are from Unit 1. This is from Unit 1. This is again from Unit 1. Young modulus is from Unit 1. This is Unit 2. Frequency tension is, this is Unit 2. Unit 2, Unit 2, and Unit 2. Okay, so then the first three core practicals are from Unit 1, and the last five core practicals are from Unit 2. So most people, why do they bad in your Unit 1 specifically is because people, I mean, we are going to start a year-long course, right? I mean, obviously, we're going to complete the physics Unit 1 by before end of this year. For example, I think we can complete Unit 1 by the end of November or October. So basically, all the concepts and question papers also will be done by this year December. So what people think is that as I'm going to complete entire Unit 1 in December, let's sit for the jam session in Unit 1, and for Unit 2 and 3, we're going to sit for that in in May session. So for that is it's a little bit tricky because in Unit 3 is kind of related to Unit 1. So, I mean, we can sit for the Unit 1 in jam session, that is fine, but I would suggest sit for all the three units in one sitting. I mean, if you do not have that much subjects in A level, but then again, if you have like four subjects in A level, then 3 into 4 is basically 12 units. I would not also recommend that. Like, not also recommend sitting for unit, for all those 12 units in one session. That is also a very messed up working. So even if you intend to sit for this Unit 1 in Jan 25, I would suggest solve few of my Unit 3 classes. In that case, you will have an idea about Unit 3 also when we are going to do the question papers for Unit 1. Okay, because Unit 1 and Unit 3 are slightly related. That's why, I mean, most people, they do just focus on Unit 1 only, and they do not prepare the descriptive situations for all the core practicals that will come from Unit 1. And that's why people do bad in Unit 1, because they only focus on maths, because it is an 80% maths, and they do not actually practice for the 20% theoretical questions. That's why mostly they have lackings for Unit 1. That is it actually. For Unit 3, to be honest, there are no sections. For Unit 3, we're going to sit for like 1 hour, 15 minutes exam duration and for 45 marks. For Unit 3, you will get maybe on maximum four questions. Okay, not more than four questions. On maximum, you'll get four questions for Unit 3. And they do not have any pattern. For Unit 3, pattern is entirely different. Like they will ask you to draw a graph, they will ask you to draw derivations, and they will ask you to calculate some equations or maths. Okay, Unit 3 is not that much difficult. You can easily score a good mark in Unit 3. But only difficult paper is Unit 1. So we're going to start today one topic from Unit 1, basically the first topic. We're going to start with this topic today, physical quantities and units. I think for Sanuti, Afti, and Fayad, I have given my file for physical quantities to all of you and also the specification. But Abrar, I actually am not connected to you through WhatsApp. So I would suggest after this class ends, you can like inbox me in my WhatsApp and collect these files from me. Okay, this is my WhatsApp number. Okay, now 1 minute. Another thing, as I was saying, now that obviously we have to practice question papers a lot, right? For that question papers, how would we like calculate question papers from the very start? So from the new specification, okay, in A level physics, new specification started from May 2019 to the last paper was May 2024. So we basically have May 2019. On 2020, you have two papers. Wait, one minute. May 2019, October 19. 2020 has two papers. 21 has three. 22 has three. 23 also has three papers, and 24 will also have three papers, including the Jan session. So 17 papers will for new specification of A levels. We have 17 question papers available, but again, 17 papers are not that much important. We are going to solve all the 17 question papers in during our classes, but for the worksheets, I mean, we are going to solve worksheet after every topic. Like after the completion of physics quantities and units, we are going to solve two worksheets. I mean, this one is a very small topic, so I cannot actually compile two worksheets for this topic. But from the next topic onwards, like kinematics, vectors, projectors, they're very important topic. And for every topic onward, we're going to solve two worksheets. One worksheet will have questions compiled from 2011 to 2000, 14 or 15. Okay, these years will be compiled in worksheet one, and we'll do this in class. I will explain the maths and the questions from this worksheet in class, and there will be another worksheet which is going to be 2015 to 2019 onwards. Okay, and this is going to be a worksheet 2, and this worksheet 2 is going to be your homework first. You guys need to submit the homeworks in our classroom, and after these homeworks are done, I will receive all of your homeworks and check your homeworks, and then we're going to do a problem solving class for the homeworks. Okay, and the main motive of doing these old papers for the worksheet is because that obviously in our year-wise classes we will complete the 2019 to the latest paper we can find. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find the January 2025 paper for the May 2025 session, but if I can get or collect that, then obviously we'll solve that also. But so far, I'm assuming for the year-wise classes will start after the completion of each unit. Okay, so year-wise question paper classes, we're going to solve from 2019 June or May to I'm not specifically sure if I'll be able to manage the Jan 24, Jan 25. So I'll just write October 24. Okay, October 2024. And in between them, you have like 17 to 18 papers. So basically 17 papers. We are going to complete the 17 papers. Now then again, if we are going to make worksheets from this recent paper, then it will be a repetition for you to like after solving the worksheets again, doing the same questions in the year-wise classes will not that much be helpful. So that's why we will solve worksheets from the old papers, and we will start the year-wise from the like new papers for the year-wise classes. And for your after the year-wise classes, not exactly after the year-wise classes, after solving like up to 2020, we will start our mock. For every unit, we will have 5 mocks, and for every paper, it's going to be a very new paper. Okay, I'm not going to repeat the questions from our worksheet or from our what is this year-wise question papers. Mock papers will be entirely new. Consists of different steps. So you will not get anything common from the year-wise from the worksheets in your mock paper. So mocks are entirely new. And then again, there's no extra payment for the mocks. Mocks are again included with the monthly fees. Okay. So for every unit, we're going to solve like 5 mocks. As I've already stated that mock papers are not taken from your question paper. These are entirely new. So you guys have to prepare well for your mocks. because these are extremely important. Preparing for mock should be like preparing for your main exams. You're going to revise all the question papers you did before one mock, revise the weak topics you have in each unit, and then you should sit for a mock because when we are like giving you entirely set of new papers, right? So it actually it takes a lot of time for me to compile a paper. So if you sit for a paper without zero preparation, thinking, okay, it's just my tutor's exam, it's not going to count in my main A levels, right? Obviously, the mock papers will not count in your A levels, but uh, these will be very important for your practice for the main exams. So I would suggest whenever our mock starts, prepare well for your mocks. Another thing, what will be our syllabus completing state? For example, if we are starting from June onwards, right? I think from this week Monday. So from June, sorry, not June, July, my mistake. From July, August, September, sorry, I think I made a mistake in spelling. September and October. For all these 4 months, we are going to have two classes per week. And then again, for these two classes per week, we are only going to solve unit one. Acha, guys, can you wait for 1 minute? Just getting some messages. 1 minute. Sorry, as I was saying that for July, August, September, October, we're going to have two classes per week for unit one. And from October, like from November onwards, we have to increase our class duration. So from November to December, and then again Jan, February, May, sorry, March and April. Okay. For these time durations, we are going to start. Wait, let me just from this to February, we're going to have three classes per week. And over here, basically the three classes will be distributed in such way that we're going to solve unit one and unit two together. Like the two classes will be taken for unit two and one classes will be for unit one. So two classes for unit two and then again one class for unit one. Why am I taking one class for unit one? Because over the 4 months, we will complete like 90% of unit one, or maybe like 100% of unit one would also be completed within in during this 4 months. So we would not need any more classes for unit one. For this November and December, basically, we are going to solve question papers from unit one. And for those of you who will sit for the exams, unit one in January 25, their mock will start from December. But for I think Fayad will sit for the exams in May 25. For him, the classes will like the mocks for unit one will be taken for March and April. So basically, we are trying to intend to finish Unit 1 by December, including the mocks and everything. And we're going to finish Unit 2 by February. Okay. And then again, this is an extended version. I mean, before February, we can complete Unit 2. And by March, we will complete, as you already saw, that Unit 3 is entirely an extended version for Unit 1 and Unit 2. I do not actually have to explain new things for Unit 3, but still I'm going to take like this 1 month for unit 3. this entire month for Unit 3, including the question papers and the theoretical classes you need for Unit 3. I mean, I can actually explain Unit 3, the theoretical classes within 1 week, but including the question paper, I'm like taking the maximum time, that is March. Till like entire March, we will just focus on Unit 3 and we'll do mocks of question papers for Unit 1 and 2 simultaneously. And in April, again, this is for just mocks and revision. Mocks, revision, and QP. Okay, as we are going to like sit for the May 2025 session mainly, or for the Jan 25 session for Unit 1 only. Um, our registrations will start from, for Jan 25, the registration will start from I think September this year, and it will end on October, like approximately October 10 or October 15 or 13. And that is a registration date for Jan 25 session. And if you're willing to sit for the May 2025, in that case, your registration will start from February, like start of February, and it will end by March 15 or, yeah, March 15, I think is the maximum date for the May 25 session registration. Okay, and again, before every registration, we will have to sit for mocks because, I mean, for A levels, like each subject costs like maybe 9,500 taka. Okay, BT, like Bangladesh currency. I do not know about Sanusi and AFTI. Okay, your currencies are different. So I do not know, I have any idea about how much it will cost in your currency, but in our currency, it is 9,500 per unit. Okay, it is 9,500 per unit, and again that was a price list for May 2024 session. Price lists always increase in every session. So by your time, it would increase to like 10,000 Bangladesh currency. So if you have like 3 units in A levels, that's going to be like 30,000 Bangladesh currency. That's a lot of money, to be honest. So that's why we have to complete, like do at least 1 month before our exam, our registration starts, so that I can give an a transcript like this, that okay, you're getting this marks in mocks, then you should get this much marks in the main exam if you try to work harder. So yeah, this is it for the overall working and every specification and everything you need to know about A-level physics. And we'll start with the physical quantities. And oh wait, 1 minute. I forgot to tell you the class timings. Our classes will start from this July 1st, I think, right? Yeah, Monday is July 1st. Our normal class timings will be on Monday. Monday, if you're from Bangladesh, then the time durations will be 2 p.m. And if you are from Qatar or Sanofi and uh, Afi, sorry, this is going to be 11 a.m. for your time. Okay, on Monday and on Saturday. So it's 2 p.m. Okay, I'll just keep the this physics classes at 2 p.m. and 11 a.m. Okay, I'll rearrange the maths classes earlier in that case. So these are your class timings: 2 p.m. for Bangladesh and 11 a.m. for Qatar. And we're going to have 2 classes per week till October, and from November onwards of this year, we'll increase our class timings to 3 classes per week. Okay, now let's start with our first topic today. I'll just stop my screen for a while. I'll open that other file and then we will start. Also, all these written files and class guides will also be given in your WhatsApp. Another thing I need to introduce, 1 minute. This is the classroom, by the way. And all of the files that we will have or I will upload will be uploaded in this classrooms. So if I mean, for AS, I have this AS October uploaded. Like this is the classroom for AS October classes, and this is how the recordings will see. I mean, as you can see, all of our classes are recorded, and the recorded classes will be given to you in your classroom in this format. So if you just press onto the link, that will direct you to the classes recording. And another thing, I mean, these videos are actually shared with your email address only. So with whatever email address you join the classroom, with only that email address you can watch the recordings. Okay. So another thing, you cannot find anything from the stream section for this classroom. Always try to find your topics from the classwork section. because from classmate section, every topic is separately like sectionized. As you can see for unit one, for this October session, we have completed all these topics, and for all these topics, they have different sections and files. For physical quantities, the notes and class slides and recordings. And if you have worksheets, then we will have the worksheets again over here: notes, recordings, class slides, and worksheets. So guys, can you just wait 1 minute? I have to receive a call and then we will start. Just wait 1 minute, please. Okay, sorry, I had to receive a call. As I was saying that for your classes also, May 2025 AS Physics will again like arrange a different classroom, and that classroom will also be maintained in similar pattern. Okay, all the recordings and all the class slides will be given to your classroom so that you can get the classroom, I mean files from the classroom directly, and also watch the recordings for any class that you might miss or you want to revise a topic, you can also do that. 1 minute. I'll just stop the recording and then we will start. Okay, so this is our first topic for AS Physics, that is quantities and units. Okay, now before we start with the basic part, I think for IGCSE Physics, this is not taught in IGCSE Physics to be honest. Now, in general, physics has to be qualified into two different sections. Okay? For example, if there is a quality, there's another term as quality, and then again there is this term quantity. So we need to understand what is quality and what is quantity. Quality is basically that we cannot describe in numbers. Okay, so cannot be described in numbers, that is your quality, and in quantity, that is the opposite of quality. This can be described in numbers. So in physics, we're only going to work with quantity and not with quality. Okay, quality is not a part of our AS or even entire physics. In physics, we're only focused on everything, every situation that we can describe those in terms of numbers. For example, if you want to describe the distance between 2 points, I can describe that in numbers, right? For example, if the distance between point A and point B, if they want me to calculate that, so measure that, I can measure that easily using a meter ruler, and I'm going to consider that okay, distance between A and B is going to be like 5 meters, right? This 5 over here will give you the number idea. numerical idea for this quantity. So quantities can always be described in terms of numbers, and quality cannot be described in terms of numbers. That's why we're going to eliminate that from our cases for AS physics. So for quantity again, that is sectionized into two different sections. Quantity, this one will be sectionized into base quantity or derived quantity. Okay, and again this will be divided into vector and scalar quantity. As obviously from our IGCSE physics, we are already aware what is vector and scalar quantity, right? But I think we didn't saw base and derived quantity in most of our IGCSE physics classes, but vector and scalar is very common. We saw that in IGCSE physics. If you remember, the definition for vector was what? Objects, say quantities that have both magnitude and direction, that is considered as a vector quantity, right? Again, if I have to scroll up a little bit, I have the definition written over here that quantities that have both magnitude and direction is referred as vector quantity, and scalar is that where the quantity only has magnitude. Now we are aware what direction is, right? Direction is moving towards some point, either it is north, south, east, west, up, down, right, left. These are the directions. But exactly what is magnitude? Can anyone tell me? What does the term magnitude refer to?
Size.
Right. Magnitude indicates the size. So magnitude indicates the size of the quantity or the numerical value of the quantity, and that is what magnitude is, right? I mean, all of these three terms are same thing, but problem is that um, I mean, for AS physics, like in your IGCSE physics, they have this specific mark scheme word. So we cannot use numerical or size. We have to use magnitude itself because this is a mark scheme point. And another thing, for example, obviously I understand quantities with direction will be vector quantities and quantities with magnitude only will be scalar. But how do I remember all of these things? When we are going to come across with a lots of units in AS physics, right? So exactly how do I differentiate which is a vector quantity and which is a scalar quantity? In order to differentiate between two quantities, I would always suggest use dot multiplication. This is your dot multiplication. For dot multiplication, again, this is not exactly a part for your AS physics, but this is like a basic thing I teach to all my students because I mean it would be very tough for me also if I have to like memorize all of the quantities, which one is a vector, which one is scalar. Then I'll have to maybe like sit for like two books, and the entire book will consist of only quantities listed under scalar and vector. That's just a very time consuming thing to do. So I would suggest using dot multiplication. That's an easier option. Okay. So for this dot multiplication, for dot multiplication, this is all vector quantities are considered as negative sign and all vector quantities are considered as positive sign. Always remember one thing that in physics, all of the equations that you will see across, like for example, all of the equations that you have also saw in IGCSE physics, they all have assumptions because in physics we always neglect air resistance, right? But in real life, I cannot neglect air resistance. So for all of the equations, for all of the mathematical things we'll do in physics, for all the calculative part in physics, they always have assumptions. We'll obviously focus on the assumptions from the next classes, but so far over here, why do we consider the vector quantities as negative and why do we consider the scalar as positive? That is because the vectors are, sorry, 1 minute. The vectors are kind of like a dominating quantity. So negative is a dominating quantity sign. That's why you consider that as negative, and scalars are like a little bit of recessive kind of quantity. That's why we consider that as positive. Another thing, in order to carry out the dot multiplication, we will need to understand basics of algebra. That is, if I'm going to multiply two positive numbers together, the final product will be a positive. If you're going to multiply positive and negative, the final product is minus. And then again, if you're going to multiply two minus together, the final product is positive. Okay, that is again for the multiplication only. I will also have to do division, multiplication. 1 minute. I think Sanuthi missed it. I'll just repeat it one time. Okay. For carrying out the dot multiplication, we have to understand these three basic like algebra. Plus plus gives you positive, plus minus gives you negative, and minus minus gives you positive. And then again for division also I have to understand basic algebra, which is positive and positive, that turns out to be again positive, and positive and negative, which is again negative. These are, by the way, divided to each other, okay? And then again, minus divided with minus turns out to give you again a positive value. So these are basic algebra that will be needed for your calculations for every dot multiplication working. And another thing, you have to memorize like 3 units in order to find out any of the units you want to calculate. Okay, a very small chart that you have to memorize. So vector quantity and for scalar quantity. For scalar quantity, you have to memorize that time is a scalar quantity, it only has magnitude. Mass is a scalar quantity, it only has magnitude. Distance is a scalar quantity, it only has magnitude. Whereas displacement is a vector quantity as it has both magnitude and direction. Okay, so this is your displacement turns out to be a vector quantity. Only these four quantities you need to remember which one is scalar and which one is vector. And with the combination of these four, you can find out any quantity if that is scalar or vector. For example, over here, if we start now, for example, in this case, we have already studied momentum in IGCSE physics, right? Which is mass times velocity. If you remember, mass is scalar, so it will be assigned with a positive sign, right, as according to our dot multiplication assumption. So this is scalar, velocity is a vector, so it is assigned with a negative sign. The product of minus and plus turns out to be minus, which indicates that it's the final sign for momentum is negative, right? So if the final sign for momentum is negative, then obviously this is a vector quantity. Then again, we can do the same calculation for work done. I do not need to memorize if work done is a scalar or vector. I can use dot multiplication to find that. Force is a vector quantity, so I'm using negative for force. And then distance moved with a specific direction. What is that? Distance is basically magnitude, but distance have magnitude, right? And specific direction means it has direction. So it's magnitude and direction. If a quantity has magnitude and direction, it eventually turns out to be a displacement. So displacement is a vector quantity. That's we have this negative sign over here. And the product of two negative will leave you as positive. This is just final scalar quantity. So is there any problem till now for this dot multiplication? Mm, any questions for dot multiplication so far? Then I would expect a little bit of a response. If you do not want to turn on your mic, that's fine. You can also use the chat options. Yes, and again, emojis are also fine. Okay, I'm expecting that for Sanuti and Abrar, this is clear. If there is question, please turn on your mic and let me know if you have any problem. Now, this is for dot multiplication. Another thing we will do is let's just see another example. Okay, we saw for momentum, we saw for work done. Let's understand what kinetic energy is. Now, I know that is scalar quantity from my IGCSE knowledge, but again, how can I apply kinetic like this dot multiplication process into our kinetic energy? So, the equation for kinetic energy was half mv square. Then again, the half over here is only there as a reference for the equation, so I'm not going to include that half. I'll just start focusing on mass and velocity square because those are the quantities involved in the calculation for kinetic energy. For mass, you have plus sign because that is a scalar quantity, and for vector, you have a minus sign square. Always remember, this is again like tips for maths. For negative sign, if you have an even number of power, final answer will be positive. That means for -1, if there is n where n is even, right, the final answer will be +1, right? And then again, if you have positive -1 with m, where m is odd, where the power is odd, the final answer is going to be negative. Now, in this case, as you have negative with a power of even number, the final result will be positive over here as well. For the negative square turns out to be positive, and the product of two positive signs will be eventually positive, which turns out that eventually now from this dot multiplication also, my theory is proved that kinetic energy is indeed a scalar quantity. Right. So this is the case for vector and scalar quantity. Is there any problem till now? Okay, I'm guessing again you guys don't have any problem. Now this is it for our today's class. We're now going to start with base and derived quantities. For base and derived quantities, we'll start from the Monday class onwards. Okay, from Monday, 2 p.m. or 11 a.m. Qatar time in that case. So this is it. And this entire class slide will also be added into your WhatsApp. Okay, after this ends, I'll upload the recording in my YouTube and then give you guys the link. And this entire file will be given to you right away within like 10 to 5 minutes. Is there any question you need to ask? Because this is the end for this trial class, by the way. In the next class, we'll start solving from this, like explaining from this based and derived quantities. Okay, then if you do not have any questions, then I will stop the trial class over here. If you guys intend to join my trial classes, then you can obviously inbox in my WhatsApp. I will add you to the classes then. Right. I'll stop the recording then. Thank you for joining the class. Bye bye.